Welcome to Alabama football, a program that rebuilds and reloads. From Bear Bryant to Nick Saban, it's been one of the most dominant dynasties in college football history. But now, things look different. With Caleb DeBoer at the helm and a 12-team playoff format finally here, the expectations haven't changed. Instead, only the path to meet them has. Is this the year Alabama reclaims their throne, or are they already slipping into decline? If you're here for bold takes, deep dives, and no-fluff football analysis, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Now let's unpack Alabama's 2025 season and ask the question, is it truly playoff or bust for the Crimson Tide? From 2007 to 2023, Alabama was established as more than a great team, and time again, they were the gold standard. Under Nick Saban, the Tide claimed 6 national championships, dominated the SEC, and produced a staggering number of first-round NFL draft picks, 15 consecutive top 10 recruiting classes, 3 Heisman winners, multiple playoff appearances. Under Saban, anything less than elite was a failure. Even in rebuilding years, Alabama still made the college football playoff. Saban's dominance redefined what success meant. He didn't just build a program, he built a machine. Every fall, Alabama was tried, and they emerged as more than just a contender. They were the team everyone measured themselves against. That legacy, it's now DeBoer's burden. When Nick Saban retired in January 2024, Alabama needed more than a coach. They needed someone who could step into the void and keep the dynasty alive. Then came Caleb DeBoer. At Washington, DeBoer went 25-3 in just 2 seasons, including a Pac-12 championship and a trip to the national championship game. His resume sparkled with offensive firepower and quarterback development. DeBoer also won 3 NAIA titles at Sioux Falls and turned around Fresno State in less than 2 years. He's an offensive architect who can adapt his system to the talent around him. But Tuscaloosa is a different beast. Winning here isn't enough. It's about how much, how soon, and how often. And the margin for error? Razor thin. DeBoer's first year was rocky. The Tide opened strong but stumbled with key losses, a stunning upset to Vanderbilt, a shootout loss to Tennessee, and a collapse against Oklahoma. And the final nail? A double overtime thriller lost to Michigan in the Rose Bowl, leaving Alabama just outside the inaugural 12-team playoff. They finished 9-4, respectable for most programs, but for Alabama, it felt like a regression. It marked the first back-to-back seasons without a playoff appearance since the format began. Some called it growing pains, others saw the beginning of a slow decline. Either way, one thing was clear: 2025 had to go better. Let's be honest, nobody expected perfection from DeBoer in year 1. New staff, new system, new culture, but 9-4, that's not Alabama football. Fans were restless, recruits started to waver, national media critical. What was more concerning than the losses themselves was the manner in which they lost. Penalties, late-game collapses, lack of physicality on both sides of the ball, missed tackles, and red zone inefficiency. These were issues that had been unheard of in Saban's Alabama. In Saban's Alabama, those things were unacceptable, and the pressure was on DeBoer. He had to win, and even more, he had to win cleanly, win convincingly, and win often. That's the bar he inherited. That's the identity fans still expect, no matter who's wearing the headset. Despite last year's hiccups, optimism is high heading into 2025. Preseason FPI ranking, number 3 in the nation. Projected playoff chance, 66.2%, tied for the 3rd best nationally. Title odds, 10.4%, right behind Georgia, Ohio State, and Texas. Why the belief? Because DeBoer's offense is elite when it clicks. The roster is still stacked with 4- and 5-star talent. Quarterback Ty Simpson returns with experience. The O-line is deep, and the defense is faster and more aggressive under new coordinator King Womack. New transfers have filled holes, and the young guys who struggled last year, they're a year older, stronger, and smarter. Vegas isn't backing off Alabama, and neither is the pressure. Circle your calendar. Alabama opens the season on August 30th in Tallahassee versus Florida State. It's a make-or-break tone setter. A win there sets the tone. A loss, it invites chaos and scrutiny. After a brief breather versus ULM and Wisconsin, it gets brutal. September 28th at Georgia, November 8th, home versus LSU, November 15th, home against Oklahoma. The rest, Mississippi State, Auburn, Arkansas. Teams hungry for an upset. Even one misstep could slide Alabama down the CFP ladder. And with the SEC tougher than ever, the margin for error is simply non-existent. There's also the rivalry factor. The Iron Bowl may not be what it was a decade ago, but a close loss to Auburn would still ignite unrest in Tuscaloosa. Let's be real, no one at Alabama is gunning for a 10-2 season in a Citrus Bowl invite. The only acceptable outcome is a playoff berth. In fact, with the 12-team format, anything outside the top 8 would even feel like a disappointment. This isn't just internet chatter. Alabama AD Greg Byrne has hinted that the standard must be maintained. Recruits expect it, boosters demand it, and in the 12-game playoff format, there are no excuses left. This year's team has no excuses. They've got continuity, they've got leadership, and they've got a schedule that is favorable enough to make a run. With Alabama projected at the top 3, anything outside the final 12 is a failure, period. In Tuscaloosa, you're either in the playoff or you're in trouble. DeBoer is a gifted offensive mind, but he's also under the spotlight like never before. His contract reads over $10 million per year. His roster is littered with future NFL players, and his assistant pool is one of the largest in the country. Consequently, it goes without saying, his expectations are sky high. If Alabama stumbles again, especially with the top 3 preseason projection, the questions will get louder. Is DeBoer truly built for SEC football? Can he recruit on Saban's level? Is the dynasty over? He's already facing comparisons to his predecessor, and those shadows are long. And let's be clear, he's not getting a 5-year honeymoon. Brian Harsin didn't get 2 at Auburn, and Kevin Sumlin was fired despite early success as his team plateaued. This isn't Washington, where SDs can be more forgiving, less cutthroat, and slower to fire coaches. If Alabama doesn't make the playoff, DeBoer's seat will start warming fast. A strong season could reset the narrative, but anything less, that heat gets turned up to a full boil in 2026. Kalen DeBoer has the talent, the support, and the odds in his favor. Now he just needs the results. In 2025, there's no room for slow starts or close losses. The only path forward, win big and win now. Because this is Alabama, a place where good isn't good enough, where double-digit win seasons can still leave you unemployed. The fans don't want excuses, they want championships. The boosters didn't sign off on a massive contract to watch the Tide get edged out by rivals. And in Tuscaloosa, the phrase "next year" doesn't fly. So, the question isn't just whether DeBoer can handle the pressure, it's whether he can rise above it and keep the dynasty alive. Because in 2025, it's not just about making progress, it's about making the playoffs. Anything less, and it's a bust. If you believe Bama gets back to glory or think the DeBoer era is already in trouble, let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our thrilling expositions on college football. Thanks for watching.